Your doctor probably never told you this. Walking on an empty stomach after 50 does not burn belly fat the way you think it does. In fact, for a lot of people, it does the exact opposite. And the people who have been waking up early every morning, skipping breakfast, and going for that fasted walk thinking they are doing something smart, they are making a mistake that is quietly working against everything they are trying to achieve. Stay with me, because this is going to completely change how you think about your morning routine. Here is what most people believe. They believe that walking on an empty stomach forces the body to burn fat because there is no food energy available, no glucose in the system, so the body digs into fat stores. It sounds completely logical, and there is a version of that story that is true, but after 50 the story changes dramatically, and most people have absolutely no idea that the rules are completely different for their body right now. After 50, three specific things happen during fasted walking that most fitness advice completely ignores. Your cortisol response is significantly stronger, your muscle breakdown rate is higher, and your body's ability to switch between fuel sources is slower and far less reliable. These three factors combined mean that for most people over 50, a fasted morning walk is not primarily burning belly fat. It is primarily spiking cortisol, destroying muscle tissue, and triggering a hunger and stress response that leads to overeating and fat storage for the rest of the day. The walk feels virtuous. The biology tells a completely different story. But before we get into the fixes, here is something that will genuinely shock you. And this is the value that almost nobody in the fitness space is talking about. Your belly fat after 50 is not the same belly fat you had at 35. Structurally, hormonally, biologically, it is a completely different type of fat. The belly fat most people carry after 50 is predominantly cortisol-driven visceral fat, not dietary fat, not lazy fat, stress fat. And here is why that distinction changes absolutely everything. Cortisol-driven visceral fat has cortisol receptors directly embedded in the fat cells themselves. This means the more cortisol your body produces, from stress, from poor sleep, from fasted exercise done the wrong way, the more those fat cells are directly told to expand and hold on. They are literally hardwired to respond to cortisol by growing. This is why people over 50 can eat perfectly, exercise consistently, and still watch their belly stay exactly the same size. They are not failing because of food. They are failing because every stressful thing they do, including fasted walking done incorrectly, is directly feeding the very fat cells they are trying to shrink. Nobody explains this, and it changes the entire approach to belly fat after 50. Now let us go through exactly what is happening and exactly what to do about it. The first problem is the cortisol surge. Cortisol rises naturally every morning. This is called the cortisol awakening response, and it is completely normal. But when you add fasted exercise on top of that natural morning cortisol peak, you compound the spike dramatically. And because your belly fat after 50 has cortisol receptors embedded directly in those fat cells, that cortisol spike is not just a stress response, it is a direct instruction to your belly fat to hold on tighter, to expand, to resist burning. Most people have been unknowingly sending that exact instruction to their belly fat every single morning with their fasted walk for months or years, and they cannot figure out why the belly never changes. The fix is a small strategic protein snack before your walk, a hard-boiled egg, a small handful of almonds, half a cup of Greek yogurt, something small with protein, and a little healthy fat. This blunts the cortisol spike before exercise without flooding your system with glucose. You protect the fat cells from the cortisol instruction, you preserve your muscle, and you still get the full metabolic benefit of morning movement. This one small change can shift your belly fat response completely within 2 weeks. Here is a bonus piece of information that almost nobody knows. The timing of when you eat that pre-walk snack matters enormously. Eating it 20 to 30 minutes before your walk, not immediately before, gives your body enough time to begin insulin normalization before cortisol rises from exercise. This 20 to 30 minute window is what researchers call the cortisol buffer window. It is the difference between a walk that shrinks belly fat and a walk that preserves it. 20 minutes, that is it. Most people eat immediately before or skip it entirely. Neither works. The second problem is muscle breakdown. After 50, you are already losing muscle naturally, approximately 1 to 2% per year. This is called sarcopenia, and it is one of the primary hidden drivers of belly fat accumulation in people over 50. Here's the connection most people completely miss. Every pound of muscle you lose slows your resting metabolism by approximately 30 to 50 calories per day. Lose 5 pounds of muscle over 5 years, which is completely normal and expected without intervention, and your resting metabolism burns 150 to 250 fewer calories every single day without you changing anything about your diet or activity level. That metabolic slowdown is why people over 50 gain belly fat, even when they feel like they are doing everything the same as they always did. They are doing the same things, but their muscle is gone and their metabolism dropped with it. Fasted walking accelerates that muscle loss because in bodies over 50 with lower anabolic hormones, the body increasingly turns to muscle protein as fuel during fasted exercise. You are burning some fat and simultaneously destroying the very tissue that determines your long-term metabolic rate. The fix is the pre-walk protein snack combined with 2 to 3 short resistance sessions per week. Even 5 to 8 minutes of bodyweight squats, push-ups, or resistance band work sends a powerful preservation signal to your muscles. Walking burns, resistance preserves. You need both after 50, and most people are only doing one. And here is the extraordinary piece of information that most trainers do not know to tell you. Muscle tissue after 50 responds best to resistance stimulus in the morning specifically. Morning resistance work, even very brief, triggers a testosterone and growth hormone response that is significantly higher than the same exercise done in the afternoon. This means 5 minutes of squats and push-ups before or after your morning walk is not just maintaining muscle, it is actively rebuilding it during the window when your hormonal environment is most supportive of muscle growth. 5 minutes every morning. That is the anti-aging, anti-belly fat routine that nobody is prescribing. If this level of real practical information is what you have been looking for, subscribe right now. Every single week we break down the science behind how your body actually works after 50 in plain simple language that you can actually use. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss what is coming next. The third problem is the rebound hunger response. Here is exactly how it plays out. You wake up, skip breakfast, go for your walk feeling disciplined and proud. You get home and within 30 to 60 minutes you are ravenous. Blood sugar has dropped, cortisol is elevated. Your body sends urgent hunger signals because it just ran a full stress response during the walk. And here's where most people completely undo the entire morning. They eat more than they normally would. They crave sugar and high carbohydrate foods specifically because those foods fastest resolve the cortisol and blood sugar emergency their body is experiencing, and they spend the next 3 hours in a blood sugar roller coaster that sets them up for poor food choices all day long. The walk burned perhaps 200 calories. The rebound eating adds 400 to 600 calories of the worst possible foods for belly fat. The net effect is negative every single time. But here's the piece of information that makes this even more critical and that nobody talks about. The cortisol-driven hunger response after fasted exercise specifically targets visceral fat accumulation, meaning the food you eat during a cortisol-driven hunger response is disproportionately stored as belly fat compared to food eaten in a calm, blood sugar stable state. Your body under cortisol stress does not just eat more, it specifically directs those extra calories into visceral fat storage. The fasted walk is not just causing rebound eating, it is causing rebound belly fat storage. This is the hidden cycle that keeps people stuck for years. The fix is managing blood sugar before and after the walk. Small protein snack 20 to 30 minutes before. A balanced meal with protein, fiber, and healthy fat within 30 to 45 minutes after walking. This prevents the cortisol-driven hunger rebound, stabilizes blood sugar through the morning, and breaks the hidden cycle of belly fat accumulation that has been running silently in the background of your morning routine. Now here is the extraordinary value that ties everything together. There is an optimal walking formula specifically for belly fat reduction after 50. It is not complicated, but it is precise. Walk at a pace where you can still hold a conversation but feel slightly warm and slightly breathless. This is called Zone 2 cardio, and it is the specific intensity where your body burns the highest percentage of fat as fuel, not just total calories, but specifically fat. Below this intensity and your body coasts. Above this intensity and your body shifts to glucose burning and cortisol rises. Zone 2 is the sweet spot. Most people walk too slowly or push too hard. Neither burns belly fat optimally. Zone 2 does. Walk for 30 to 45 minutes, not 20, not 60. This specific duration at Zone 2 intensity is where the cumulative fat burning effect is highest without triggering the cortisol stress response that comes from longer, harder sessions. After 45 minutes at Zone 2, cortisol begins to rise and the belly fat protection mechanism activates. Stop before that happens, and do this 4 to 5 times per week with the pre-walk protein snack, the post-walk balanced meal, and 2 to 3 short resistance sessions added in. This precise combination, Zone 2 walking, protein timing, resistance stimulus, blood sugar management, is the actual protocol for belly fat reduction after 50. Not fasted walking, not longer walks, not harder walks. Here is your complete summary. Fasted walking after 50 spikes cortisol, which directly instructs visceral fat cells to expand and hold on. It accelerates muscle loss, which slows your metabolism and accumulates more belly fat over time. And it triggers a cortisol-driven hunger response that specifically directs rebound calories into belly fat storage. The solution is a small protein snack 20 to 30 minutes before your walk. Zone 2 pace for 30 to 45 minutes. A balanced meal within 45 minutes after, and 2 to 3 short resistance sessions per week to preserve and rebuild the muscle that determines your long-term metabolic rate. Walking after 50 is one of the most powerful things you can do for your body, but fasted walking done the way most people do it is working directly against you in ways you could not see until right now. Go for your walk tomorrow morning. Have something small with protein 20 to 30 minutes before. Keep your pace conversational but slightly warm. Come home and eat a real balanced meal within 45 minutes. Do that consistently for 2 weeks. Your body will respond in a way it has never responded to a morning walk before, because for the first time you will be working with your biology instead of unknowingly fighting against it. That is not a program. That is not a diet. That is just the truth about how your body works after 50. And now you have it.